Hey everyone, welcome back to the Maelstrom. This is Kieran. Today's video is the next entry in the Beginner's Notes series of videos for Monster Hunter Rise. The monster we will be looking at today is another newcomer to the Monster Hunter series, the Somnacanth. And once again, the purpose of these videos is to provide some basic information for new players to familiarize themselves with the large monsters and not meant to be a comprehensive guide on how to beat the monsters. So with that out of the way, let's get started with Somnacanth. Somnacanth is a new addition to the Monster Hunter roster and is classified as a Leviathan. My first reaction when I saw the Somnacanth was that it looked like something that came straight out of a Dr. Seuss book. Kinda looks like the Grinch a bit, no? Anyway, Somnacanth is middle of the pack when it comes to threat level, as it is rated a 5-star out of 10. I personally did not find the Somnacanth to be a huge threat, and I would have probably rated it a bit lower, but I suppose 5 isn't far off. In terms of body parts, Somnacanth has a ton of them for you to attack. Its body parts are separated out into its head, head fin, neck, foreleg, abdomen, back, hind leg, and tail. For sharp and bludgeon weapons, you will do the most damage attacking its head, neck, and tail, while for long-range weapons, its neck is most susceptible to your weapon. If you are looking to break some parts, its head fin, foreleg, and tail are all breakable. Though the tail is breakable, it does not sever unfortunately, which may be due to the fact that a lot of its moves are while it's standing on its tail. If you are using elemental weapons, thunder will be the most effective, as well as fire to a lesser degree. Note that the Somnacanth deals water damage, so do prepare accordingly. Most ailments are only mildly effective against Somnacanth, with Blast and Thunderblight being the most effective. Sleep is a no-go as the Somnacanth is completely immune to it, possibly due to the fact that it inflicts that ailment on you itself. So once again, knowing that the Somnacanth can put you to sleep, prepare for the hunt accordingly. Alright, let's move on to the meat of the discussion, which is looking at the moveset of the Somnacanth. As per the hunter's notes, the Somnacanth is very agile when it's in the water, so if you can lure it onto land with something like a stink mink, that wouldn't be a bad idea. Several of its moves has the Somnacanth standing on its tail before unleashing it, so if you see it on its tail, it's probably a safe bet to assume it's up to no good. Leading off the discussion is Somnacanth's swipe attack. The Somnacanth will do an attack where it swipes at you with its body. I say body because there are two variations of this. One where it swipes at you with its arm, and another where it swings at you with its head. Either way, it will start off standing on its tail and will wind back and strike you either with its head or arm. This move is stronger than it looks, so do be careful, especially if your hit points are low. To finish off the discussion about swipe moves, the Somnacanth also performs a double swipe attack. The setup to watch out for is that it will momentarily pause and lift up one of its arms before taking a swipe and immediately moving to the other arm. The momentary pause and the fact that it doesn't cover a lot of distance makes this move a low threat attack. The next move in the Somnacanth's arsenal is a spike attack, where it shoots several spikes from its head. The Somnacanth stands on its tail, winds its head to one side, and fires a line of spikes ahead of it. The line of spikes is fired from the furthest, and each spike moves inward at an angle. It covers a medium amount of distance, and the spike remains in the ground for a short period of time, so do be careful not to run into them, as they may paralyze you. Okay, so let's look at Somnacanth's Body Slam attack next. As indicated in the name of the move, the Somnacanth will stand up on its tail, then proceed to what appears to be clapping before opening its arms and slamming itself down onto the ground. This move is pretty easy to avoid as you can spot it a mile away with such an obvious setup. Sticking to the theme of body attacks, the Somnacanth also performs a dive attack, where it leaps into the air and dives into you. The setup for this is that the Somnacanth, while on its tail, lowers its body near the ground and performs a twisting leap into the air. The move has quite a bit of reach and comes at you fairly quickly, though not nearly quick enough where it is difficult to dodge. The Somnacanth also has another version of a dive attack where it slithers forward, up and down for a bit before once again twisting into the air and diving down at you. Here's another look at the attack. It's snaking up and down before performing the dive. Also notice that the distance covered once it performs the jump is not too far from the takeoff spot. Continuing with Somnacanth's giant list of moves, we have a slide attack up next. Somnacanth will perform a forward slide on its belly, which can cover a long distance. The setup for this move is that Somnacanth will get down on its belly, slightly rocking its head left and right with its mouth open. Again, this is one of those moves with enough warning signs where you can react and avoid it altogether. As mentioned previously, the Somnacanth is very agile in the water, so it goes without saying that it would have some moves that takes place in the water. The Somnacanth will occasionally start swimming on its back backward. It will also pull out what appears to be a clam shell, which will either be red or yellow. It will start shaking that shell, and if it is a yellow shell, it will unleash a flash, which will leave you dizzy. Or if it is a red shell, there will be an explosion around Somnacanth, and if you are caught in the explosion, it may leave you with blast light. The Somnacanth may also swim away on its back in a random pattern, while leaving behind patches of smoke that can put you to sleep if you run into it. The only indication it may be about to do this is that it gets on its back and begins swimming, so just keep an eye out when it does get on its back. Finally, let's have a look at Somnacanth's final two moves, the first of which is what I refer to as Somnacanth's sleep breath attack. Somnacanth will fire a stream of air from its mouth, which will put you to sleep if it connects with you. There are two variations of this, where the first is a stream of air directly in front of it, and in the second, Somnacanth fires a stream of air from one side and sweeps across the field to the other side of itself. In both cases, the setup to look out for is that the Somnacanth will be standing on its tail, and then it will wind its head back to charge before unleashing the stream. Like many of its other moves, the setup is slow, though the speed of the stream where it sweeps across the field is a little quicker, so definitely be alert for that. For its grand finale, the Somnacanth will get up high on its tail and start bobbing its head left and right, while a patch of smoke gathers around it. When you see this move, run as far as you can from it, as it will be unleashing a cloud of sleeping gas, which covers a very large distance. The smoke spreads in all directions, so the only way to avoid it, as far as I know, is to move far away from it. And I think that about covers Somnacanth's extensive moveset and basic information. The Somnacanth is a really interesting addition to the roster, and I definitely had a lot of fun fighting against it. It's definitely not the toughest of monsters, especially if you can avoid his sleep attacks, but nonetheless, it doesn't hurt to familiarize yourself with the monster. I will leave you with some photos of its armor set, which is pretty fiendish looking and definitely worth getting at least a layered set of it. As always, please hit those like and subscribe buttons so that you can be notified of future videos. And in the spirit of our Dr. Seuss character lookalike, Somnacanth, here's a rhyming sign off. I have to provide a reminder for some, to remember to enter the maelstrom. Thanks for watching. This is Kieran, signing off.